Hey everyone, and welcome to another Gadget Talk. I'm Derek, and of course, next to me is Chad. Chad, I know for me, it's been crazy. How's it been on your side?
Busy as usual. Probably not as busy as you, but busy. A little too busy to build a lot of caches, but
Oh yeah. And I'm just kind of flipping through here. We get on the chat, and we're gonna be bringing Doug on here in a little bit, or Roomba Cats here in just a little bit. But I just wanted to let's see here. We got Seabeck Tribe, or as I call her, Seabiscuit Tribe. Seabiscuit. I got Tom coming in. Paul is here with us as well. Bell on the Move is coming in. Glad to see you here. Hugh's on with us. MacGyver and Flo. Quincy Cupid is on with us. Let's see here. It's Diana is on with us as well. Chronically Tired Mom is here, and Buzz82 so far that's checked in on here on in the chat right now. Of course, we got the Pizza Ninja coming in from New York. Just glad to see everybody in here, and happy Hodag, dog, dag. Yeah, it's just gonna be one of those nights. So, but yeah, so just happy to see everybody enjoying here with us tonight. And we're gonna be talking about some fun gadget caches, and there's gonna be some interaction that we're gonna need with you guys here in a little bit. And Judy Vaughn's here as well with us from Arkansas. Glad to have you on here with us. So yeah, there's going to be some interaction here. We're going to get to here in a little bit with Doug. And then we're going to be talking about some fun caches, some funny caches, and then maybe trying to get some inspiration, helping Doug out with some ideas as well with some of the caches that he's working on, see out which way we can go with this, because that's what we like doing. We like coming together and sharing ideas and seeing what we have come up with, and maybe kind of beta testing it with you guys. So, but before we get much further, let's go ahead and take care of our sponsors. What do you think, Chad?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, and then we'll get to coming back and have a lot of fun.
If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine Write-in-the-Rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
All right, and now we've got Roomba Cats on with us. Doug is with us.
Yeah, welcome,
How
Doug.
you been doing, Doug? Last time we saw each other was up here in Memphis at Cache Fest.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Tell us what's been going on, and I see that you got some caches in front of you, but we'll get to those here shortly. So tell us what's been going on a little bit.
Oh, just back in Texas. I'm near Fort Worth, and I just working a lot. So typically I do manufacturing in aerospace, and I've been learning how to program now, and so I'm becoming a programmer. So it's a little bit different. It takes a lot of work, and but I'm really enjoying it. And I moved into a new house. This is my house right here behind me. Beautiful place, and it's a great place to be. And I absolutely love Texas. It's wonderful.
That's awesome, because I know you came in from California over on Bell on the Moves area on here with us. So just welcome, and I am looking forward. You kind of talked about some of these caches here before we came on air, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some different reactions of some of the on here. The Picasso, Chronic Guitar says, Roomba Cats, the Picasso of geocaching.
Oh, thank you.
That's good.
All right, Tri Caches is on with us as well. I just saw him, and Paul, yeah. I have a design to share if anyone wants one. Hey, why don't you send us an email? You can send it to us at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tag us on Instagram as well at Gadget Talk Podcast and let us know what it is. If you want to come on and share that idea with us, we'll bring you on, but we want to see what you got. So love that, because that's what we're here for. All right, let's see here. All right, Doug, let's go ahead and I guess let's jump in with whatever one you want to go first on.
So I love making gadget caches, and I'm always looking for new ideas. And I get some of my inspiration from going to thrift stores or going to different junk stores and that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm always looking for something. And another thing is I look on Pinterest. I look at memes, for example. Those are always fun. And so I'm always looking for something that would be interesting. And so this is something I'm going to do this one first. It's really simple. I call it the silly cache. You'll actually find this out in the wilderness under a fake rock, and when it comes up, this is it. And so it looks kind of unusual. It's just a pot upside down.
Right.
But the trick to this is, let me pick it up. Okay, all
There's
right,
another pot.
another one. Okay,
Another pot.
another one.
Okay, so it's like the nesting dolls.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
It's like nesting dolls, and just keeps going and going and going. And so finally you get to the bison tube, and that's the actual cache. So it's just a lot of fun. It's something that most people don't expect.
Right.
Very simple to do. Just it took me a while to collect everything from thrift stores and stuff, but I just thought that would be a fun one to share because it's fairly straightforward and easy.
Right, and that's just something, and that's what I like. Sometimes it breaks the unusualness of, let's just go find a bison tube in the woods or wherever you want to find the bison tube. This adds just that little bit of uniqueness to getting to the actual logbook itself, and that's just really cool. It's simple. Anybody can do that. You just got to go find the nesting pots to be able to do that, or nesting bowls, or whatever you need to do to find that. I just really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's fun. That's a great creative cache. I mean, that is a prime example of being able to make a good cache. I'll probably get lots of favorite points without spending a lot of time actually building and putting stuff together.
Yeah.
Right.
So I love to make caches that are intuitive. I mean, that's about as intuitive as it gets, because what else are you going to do but just pick up the next pot and move it and keep moving it, kind of thing. So that's one of the kind of the rules, the Roomba cat rules, is make it intuitive so they don't have to read. They just obviously know what to do next, kind of thing.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons I like that cache. So another one I like is, so I saw this. So this is a box that has a bunch of, this is called Silly Animal Names. It has a bunch of cards in here. You can see that's a bear. They're just silhouettes. So I saw this on Pinterest, and I thought, I think I can make a cache out of that. And so, like for example, if I were going to ask you, what kind of animal would you consider a leather tank? A leather tank.
It either have to hold water or.
Okay, so I want to see some guesses in the chat as well. So a leather tank. What animal would be a leather tank?
So let's start with one easier. How about Trash Panda? Everyone knows that one.
Yeah,
it's a raccoon.
It's a raccoon, right?
Right.
So the idea is, so you're going to get a list of these silly animal names, and you have to put them in order. And there's a little letter up here, and it will actually spell a little sentence. And so that's the clue on what to do next.
Okay, so we're getting some answers over here.
I was thinking rhinoceros, but
Diana has a rhino.
Oh yeah.
Buzz has a rhino. Tom said an armadillo or rhino. Owen
excellent.
Says turtle. The chronically tired mom says elephant. We have another armadillo here coming in from Jim, and Bell and Move says elephant.
Yep. The answer is rhino.
It's a rhino.
Yeah, right. So how about another one here? Okay. How about murder log? Murder log.
Murder log.
It's a beaver,
right? Alligator.
Yep, alligator. Right.
Oh, alligator. I'm
All right,
not
one
good
more.
at these games.
One more.
That's a nope rope, Tom. A snake is a nope rope.
No problem.
Okay.
How about a river cow? A river
I think I
cow.
know what this one is, but I'm gonna see what we get in the chat. So see if I'm right. I'll put it in our private chat real quick, just that so I know you guys can tell me if this is right
Yeah,
or
I
not.
think it's
Okay. I'm putting it in. I put it in our private chat, so I have it locked in our private chat. So
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
is that what you're thinking too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me see here what we got over here. Yep, and that's what it's a hippo. Tom said hippo. Jim says hippo. Chronic Tire Mom said hippo. Buzz, Tricash said hippo. Or a manatee. That's another one. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about the manatee. Manatee. It's
I'll stick
Barbara
with hippo.
Manatee.
So in this case, it is the hippo.
A hippo. Okay.
And so the name of this cache, that's like what I named it after, and this is called Pantless Thunder Goose.
Pantless Thunder Goose.
Thunder Goose.
All right, I got to see what we get in the chat on this one. So it's a pantless Thunder Goose cache.
Right.
A female manatee is a cow. Okay, so if this Owen says a female manatee is a cow, but not necessarily confined to a river.
Right.
Okay. Some Donald Duck. People say Donald Duck.
Pantless Thunder Goose.
It's a Donald Duck cache. Oh wait, all right. Yeah, Donald Duck. If people are saying Donald Duck, that's funny. This here, Dinah. That's what I was thinking. Aha, Donald Duck. So yeah, people are thinking Donald Duck. We talked about this one before, so I actually know what it is, but I wouldn't have thought about this.
The answer is
It's an
ostrich.
ostrich.
A pantless Thunder Goose.
I don't think I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
So if you've been able to guess these, you can do this cache. And so you can see there's quite a few of them. I probably have about 40 total. But I think it would be a lot of fun for anybody to find these. If anybody wants to use this idea, feel free to do so.
Yeah, that's really cool. So
I actually like that idea.
Okay, so tell us how, because I see the lock on there. How do you?
Oh yeah.
So we went through the different pictures, but how do you solve this one?
So in upper right hand corner, so you're given a list of funny animal names in the description, and so you got to put them in that order. And there's a letter up here in the upper right, and you have to when you put them in order, it will actually ask you a riddle, and you can answer that riddle. And the answer is this: it's a 4-letter lock. So this is a 4-word lock, a word lock. And so you can get into it that way by just taking this out and getting into the container.
Okay. And what do you hide that one in? What do you actually put that in? Is that under a crock?
This one is
a
actually inside of a log, inside a military bag. So it's nice and waterproof. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to show you one. This is an interesting one. Okay.
Typical conversation about pantless Thunder Goose.
Thunder Goose. All right. So this one is one that exists right now and in California. It's one that was part of a competition for making a gadget cache, and it was during the pandemic. So
before you go much further, all right, Andrew, Bill on the Move, and UDAC, no spoilers on this one. Okay. All right.
Okay. So this one so there was a competition to do a pandemic gadget cache. And after a year, they'd add up the favorite points, and whoever got the most favorite points and got to win, kind of thing. And so this is one of them. So this is my competition. Now, this didn't go according to plan, but as a whole, it eventually started to be a favorite. So it's called Where's Waldo 2020? Okay. So here it is. So you come in, you got to find Waldo in 2020. And Waldo is on the beach.
Waldo's on the beach.
He's isolated. He's at least 6 feet from anybody, right?
And you can see Waldo here. He's got a surgical mask on.
Okay. Yep. I didn't see that earlier. And I see
Waldo
the Waldo over there.
He's a little hard to find, but you might be able to find him, and he's like right here, and you can open it up like that. So that's how that works. It just has a little child lock on
Just
it.
a little simple, funny, little funny thing because, of course, everybody knows nobody was out anywhere during 2020.
Right.
In fact, in California, people were getting arrested for going to the beach with nobody there.
Right.
You're even more social distance than anywhere else, but anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool. And
So-
you could actually use that with a real Where's Waldo with other people.
I could.
And then you have to find the one with the magnet, to place the magnet.
Right,
But that one's
yeah.
really fun.
I really
That
wish
one is
I had.
fun.
I wished I had, because I think most people's like, oh, good, it's a Roomba Cats rock, Roomba Cats cache, and so this should be pretty fun and challenging, and so they get to it and like, oh, that's it. All right, okay, I get it. All right,
There's only one
Points-
Waldo.
points for commentary or whatever. But anyways,
Yeah.
so it was one of those. But after kind of things, so it was easy and depressing. So
Right.
anyways, so that's one of the caches. They're not all winners. I have a shelf of shame, and I should show them. I should definitely show these. Some that sound like great ideas, they completely bombed. Okay, so this is the last one I'm going to show you. Oh no, this is the second.
No, you got
last.
one more after that one.
Got
You
one more after
one
this.
that-
So
we're
this
gonna get
this
stuff
one's a
from people.
birdhouse you would find on a tree. Instantly, you probably have a really good idea of what to do. You can see that there's a magnet here and a steel ball. So you're going to, let's see, I'm gonna face it this way so I can see what I'm doing here.
Yep, you're just gonna bring that, use the magnet and get the steel ball up.
So you're gonna get it to the
Maze.
top.
What's the thickness that you're using on your flexi there?
I think it's 1/8 inch. Yeah, the
1/8 inch?
1/4 inch was way too thick. And so one thing is, you'll see there's a little latch right here. So once that
Right.
ball gets down, we get the shadow there, or the reflection. So once the ball gets down to a certain level, it'll unlatch and you can open it. And inside,
See if we can hear it.
So you're getting rickrolled once you open it.
Getting rickrolled once you get it open. And I see the flexi in there. So they open it up, they get rickrolled on this. So where is the log that they would sign?
right? So it's actually, you can't. Oh, there it goes again. You can't get into it. I don't know if you can see Rick Astley in there.
Yeah.
So we'll search around for it for a while, but the answer is the log's right in here. It's just unscrew it.
Oh,
There's
and it
the
fell out of the
log.
floor.
The log fell out, but
Just
it's
like it
all in
would out
there.
in the wild. Yep.
Yeah,
That's,
just in the wild, right? Exactly. So it just unscrews in the base, and that's it.
that reminds me of the one and he's in here with us tonight, Tricassius. And I know you mentioned this on one of the videos with Josh, is that you have the big man with the hammer and you have the little man. Well, the actual logs in the little, and like the hammer itself. So that was
Little
very
strong
similar
man,
to that.
That's where I got the
and
idea.
this, and-
Yeah, that's exactly
is that where you got the idea?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Okay.
Little strong man. I thought that was a
So,
great idea.
Tricassius spreads that idea, and then you take it a completely different direction. And then that's what I love about this community. We may see, sorry, I'm just looking at Adi. That's what he said. Well, that's kind of mean. But just has it. You do all the work because I know the reason why I asked about the marble, the thickness of that, because I was messing around with one and I could not get the marble to get that thickness of that, the plexi right, because it kept dropping it trying to do the maze.
It's a pretty
That's
strong magnet.
just
You
very
might
strong
need a
magnet
stronger
in the
magnet.
marble.
I have one that's been out since 2018 that's like that, and I just have a really strong magnet. Never had an issue with it.
Yeah.
So the idea, another thing that kind of inspired this was something, a cache called Monkey Trap, and it was you open up the birdhouse, and there's a big bottle of swag in there. I mean, lots of really good stuff in the swag. You cannot get the bottle out. Nothing you do is just barely, the opening is just barely too small that you can't get it out. And no matter what you do, you can't get it out. And the reason it's called a monkey trap is because that's the story that they say how to catch a monkey is they grab
Right.
something inside a small hole and they can't get their hand out. And so they'll sit there forever, not getting trapped without. And so
Right.
that's what it is. And so it was just something enticing to look at, because when they see the maze, instantly, okay, it's a magnet, there's a ball, I know what to do, and so they're going to do that and go down that path and find out that that isn't the right place to go. And so
Right.
that's where that came from, kind of thing. It's
Well,
just
that's kind of like,
yet another cache.
yeah, and it's kind of like the shipping a bottle that I showed on my channel, where you see the bison tube and the pipe up here, but that's not actually that's just the red herring, and you end up having use one of the nails and you unhook it and you pull it out from underneath. But you see it in the hole right here. That, well, I got to get that, and that was based off of one that I found in Arizona, and so that's how that was done. So that was really cool. I like that. I like the red herring in that one. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Another thing is that Bella on the Move and I found a cache. Can't remember where it was exactly, but the key used to unlock the lock was actually the wrench that allowed you to unlock the lock. So it was really interesting. So they used the key like I had never seen before. It was really genius. So, okay, I'm going to show you my last one. Okay, this one is called the Travel Bug Confessional. It's actually going to be put at a church. It looks similar to this. And so the reason it's called the Travel Bug Confessional is because it's a travel bug hotel, but you can also confess your travel bug sins into this little recorder. So you can use the green button to hear any previous confessions, or you can press the red button and record your own confession as to how you mistreated travel bugs throughout your career as a geocacher. And not only that, there's obviously a little place for your travel bugs to exchange and stuff like that. But I thought this would be kind of fun, especially since I got permission to put this at a church, for some people to confess their terrible ways in which, yeah. So
I love this one.
The Travel Bug Confessional.
That's hilarious. So I want to see in the chat. Some of you can get this off your chest now in the chat. This is public, so everybody's going to see this, so it doesn't matter. But we've all failed with travel bugs. I want to see some. Y'all can go ahead and put some of your confessions in the chat right now of your travel bug sins. Yeah, I'll go first. I have some that I got to get back out in the wild. So
I have several in the front seat of my work vehicle that get put in some caches where I don't want travel bugs in. So I have every intention to drop them off at the next cache, and I never do. So I think I've had one in there for almost a year. But yes, so they don't always move on. They're sitting in my car.
Yeah. So go ahead and put your confessions of your travel bug sins in the chat. It's fine. We're all here. We're all friends. We're not going to judge you because we've all done it ourselves. Chronically Tired Mom says, I have one sitting in my car for 3 weeks now. That's not too bad. It's only 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Terrible TV transgressions. I've kept a pair of bug. I kept a pair of bug for a year. Then my house was broken into, and the theft used my GeoBug bag, a swag bag, and stole both trackables with it. Ooh.
Oh no.
Well, that's not your fault. Paul says, I have a travel bug that's in a cache that couldn't be approved due to inappropriate design, but I'm afraid to bring it to an event. Found one in the bottom of my pack after who knows how many weeks from Bill on the Move. No confessions here. I think I'm fibbing again. I made a pizza with travel bugs as the toppings. The pizza.
How did that taste?
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it sounds kind of
plasticky or metal.
2 on my desk and finally none on the dash of my pickup from Try Caches. I'll go ahead and plead the fifth on this one's from Audie Olson. Haven't done this yet. If someone drops an oversized chibi at my event, it may go missing. So yeah, I think everybody's feeling much better now as we've been able to confess these travel bug sins. I
You
know
see
I feel
Sean's.
better. No,
This is
which one's Sean?
it's probably the worst.
I actually held a geocoin for 9 years. Ooh,
Does it automatically become yours after 9 years?
I don't know. But if that person's not cashing anymore at that point, is it yours? Maybe that's a discussion for deep dive. So let's bring that one up to them. My sin, I have 2 since Memphis, but I'm taking them to FI Florida for CoinFest. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. That's okay. It's
only a couple weeks.
Oh yes, yeah. So
my
yeah,
issue is when I put mine in my passenger seat of my car, it gets protected by the pile of stuff on top of it that ends up collected there. And then when I finally clean out my passenger seat, I'm like, oh, I have travel bugs here. I probably should move those along.
Yeah, I know I have several that I've need to move on, and trying to find that right cache to move them on because we all know they end up going missing, and yet some of us are the culprits for those going missing. So we're just protecting them long term, right?
The idea is this, the idea that this cache is amazing. I love it so much. It reminds me, I had a cache out for a long time that actually had sticky notes in it, and people would write their experience finding the cache, and all over the cache would be sticky notes. And I always found it fun when I would go out there weekly to just check on it, and I'd read all the sticky notes and stuff, and it's really fun. I love that idea.
That's a great interactive
cool.
cache. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that's all the caches I brought. So these are my funny caches. There's a lot of I love to try and come up with new ideas all the time.
Right.
And try not to make anything that looks something or plays the same way twice. And so one thing that I've come to realize is there are categories or genres of gadget caches that I've created. Some of them can be nostalgia caches, which use things like Legos or cereal boxes or just things that we remember from our childhood and that mean a lot to some people who are older and that kind of thing. And so I also have caches that I don't plan on putting out, but I do bring to events, and I call these vanity caches. And simply because these are caches that are like carnival games or something a little bigger or something that would be a little harder to place. But I wanted to create one anyways. So I do holiday caches. Those are really hard. And obviously, there's holiday caches. They're the such as Pi Day and May the 3rd. Okay, and so there's always there's a bunch of different types of caches I like to make, and that are particular to certain times of the year, or things that just mean a lot to me when I was younger. And so that's another great source of inspiration for me. I always try to do a Christmas one, or I'll try to do a Halloween one, that kind of thing. And so it's always a lot of fun. It's such a great outlet for me and creativity because what I do in life as an engineer isn't as interesting as I'd like it to be. But this is a great outlet, and it's something I really enjoy doing.
Well, and I see Bell on the Move says theme caches tend to get more favorite points as well. So that's there. Now, you did bring out, and I don't know if you wanted to show this. You do have since we holiday coming up, we have Halloween.
Yeah.
You have one there, kind of that you wanted.
So this is a proof of concept that I had, and so this is actually a birdhouse. Now you can see that it's just got a black background on the back. And so the trick is
there's plexiglass too on it too.
You can see my monitor, right? So there's plexiglass in there. It's just a regular birdhouse. So this is just kind of to prove out the concept to see if it would work. So I made a little flashlight. You can see it right there, and there's a little plastic wedge on it. So it kind of looks like a flashlight that's been turned on in some weird way. But what I wanted to do is, could I make a flashlight cache for a Halloween cache and have it work during the daytime, And this is how it works. So when you put it in, you can see the bats
There's
in the
some bats
background.
there. Yep.
And there, and so what I thought I would do is you have to count the number of bats and rats and pumpkins. And so by doing this, and this will actually come up through the bottom, but this was just kind of a test to see if I can make it work, and it works great. You can see, and so this is how that works. I think that's a pumpkin right there. And so I thought this would be a great idea. Most of these things that I try, I have no idea if it's going to work or not, but I thought I'm going to do it anyways. And this actually turned out pretty neat. Yeah.
Now, is that on 2 sets of different plexi, or is that the pinchers, are they actually on the front plexi itself?
So it's on the front plexi. So this is just wood in the back that's been painted
Right.
black. I'm using a special paint called Black 2.0. It's really black. It almost has absolutely no reflection. And I think I got it off Amazon, I think. But on the here we go. There you go.
Okay, so it is a separate set of plexi on the
There it
inside.
is. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, so okay.
So that way, so I wanted to make sure that I kept the bugs out when this actually becomes a cache. And so I have this little brush here. It's just a section from the little brush they put under the door to keep breezes from coming in. But it's enough to get out of the way of the little plastic thing when you put it in like that. And so the trick is to count the number of each one of those things and get the combination, which is going to be just a small box that's going to be sitting in here with the padlock on it. So that's how
That's
that
really
works.
cool. That's really cool. I like that. And I didn't know if you were gonna have, like, if it had 2 sets of plexi in there, and so the one would be, you could actually change it out if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had bring up the plexi
Yeah.
and have different things on it, but you could have the plexi in between, and where the flashlight goes in between there would
Mhm.
be behind that one, so you could always switch that one out and always have that front plexi on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my biggest concern was that the tempera paint that I think it's acrylic, but it would get rubbed off by putting this plastic part in there. But it's actually done very well. I tried to intentionally, rub those materials off that I painted onto that plexiglass, and it stayed put. And this is just cutting board that I bought at a Dollar Tree, I think. I think
Right.
that's all this is. And this is just a little flashlight. I got a little LED flashlight that I got at a thrift store or something like that, 99-cent store, and just kind of put them together. And that's how that works.
Does it light up if you turn the flashlight on, or is that you just use it white like that off?
I just use it white like that. Just
That's really
kind
cool.
of, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it seems to work. I think people will be a little surprised.
I think that's really good. You say it needs a flashlight, and then flashlight provided, and
Yeah.
it's there. Maybe I just think that's really cool. It's really simple. Just really takes that, hey, count these objects to get to the combination, but it just adds that little bit of a twist to it. Because
Now
at first you'll look at it and going, what objects? It's just black. And they may break out a UV light trying to see what they can see.
That's true,
Actually, I wonder what, and I don't know if you have one there on hand, but would a UV light, what would it do if you shine that into it with
I don't know.
where they're there? I wonder if, because I know it's black 2.0 or super black or whatever. I wonder how that would reflect, or if you could see, because a Plexa may reflect, but those objects may not. So I wonder what that would do, if that would work that way too.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something to try. Maybe that'll lead to a different cache.
Right.
Right.
So let's see, I'm just kind of looking through the chat real quick. Bella says someone might have borrowed an extra can of Stealth Bomb or black from work. No reflection on there.
Yeah, that paint's expensive. They did I think they painted a Tesla with that at one point.
Did they?
Oh,
yeah, and it's supposed to absorb radar, right? Or absorb light.
Oh yeah, yeah. They call it RAM, radar absorbing material, and it's a spray coating you can put on. Yeah, pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I
So,
think I saw something like that where you can shine a flashlight on it too, and it doesn't really reflect. So, anyways, it was something I read somewhere. But
Yeah, I think the Vantablack that uses the nanotubes, the carbon nanotubes, uh, and then but I think the Vantablack uses different sizes of particles, and apparently uh, it obstructs the wavelength of some sort that
hmm,
causes a problem. It's not just non-reflective; it literally will cancel the light as it reflects, and so I think that's really interesting.
yeah, that's crazy. That's
that is
probably out of my
interesting.
budget for a cache.
Out of mine too, for sure. That's just really cool. I like that. I like that idea. Um, how that would work. And like I said, I'm just curious if you actually shine an actual flashlight on that, what that would do with that plexi and the non-reflective paint. I don't know if you would be able to see it or not. That's just one of those
I'll have to try it. I'll let you
tests.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other ones that kind of you're trying to play with some ideas and maybe what we can help with the spin on or
Let me
any of
think
that?
here. Wow. I have some. I have some questions. I've got some really hard caches. I mean, I think they would be very difficult. And they have multiple stages. I think they're pretty clever, and I kind of wonder if I should put them out or not, or have some kind of warning label
Right.
that keeps people from. I was like, okay, Roomba cats, 2 minutes, got it. It should be fun, kind of thing. And so I always wonder if I should place them in a different location and just say, okay, you've been warned if you want to attempt these. And this came about when in California, we had a really wonderful active geocaching group, and they were so smart and so bright. Most of them worked in aerospace, and the things I was making was I try to make kind of for the average person so that they can enjoy it. And I don't want them to walk away mad. But some of them were so easy for these people; they would solve them in minutes as opposed to 10 or 20 minutes. And so I started making really hard ones, and um, but I was thinking I probably should not include those. I was just thinking, should I group them in a different place, or should I just mix them in with the rest of the caches? I
Right.
was just kind of wondering if people would be what they thought of that. Should you think that just mixing them with other places or other caches I build? So I try to group all of them as close as possible, so you can just kind of spend the day finding my caches. Or should I have a special place where they can go and spend the day on 3 or 4 caches, kind of thing?
I don't know. I like because I've done your trail that you started down in Texas. And sorry for if you hear my dog in the background, but I really liked that, and I didn't finish it the first time I was there, and went back through and finished up at least what you had there, probably about 5 months ago. Finished that up, and just I actually liked that because it was a great area. Um, it has a great trail. It was concrete. It was a paved trail, so we didn't have to do any really bushwhacking or anything like that. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah,
so
I tried to take my best caches and make them small enough to fit into a birdhouse.
right,
Most of them were, and I wanted them to be about 2 minutes because I wanted somebody to go down that trail. It's about a mile long of caches that they can find and solve within a couple of minutes. And so I think I achieved that pretty well. And I think, and it's been very popular. And so I have several more I need to place on there. So it's probably going to be more like 2 miles of gadget caches, but they're simple, they're fun, they're easy to follow. And that was my goal, is just if you're going to walk down this trail along the river, I want them to just enjoy the scenery, but also have something to do along the way.
right. And I'm seeing here, I'm looking at some of the chat. So Paul says, I like, excuse me, I like the idea of group of gadgets with one hard one for every two relative easy ones. Killer B says mix them up as long as the difficulty rating is accurate. Um, Mike says I like
That's a
to
different subject.
cluster my caches together in a few areas and cache with friends is found more often than a lone wolf. What were you saying, Chad?
Saying that the difficulty rating is a tough one. That's a completely different subject.
That is really difficult because that's why we do beta testing, because what we think is easy to, it's hard for us to rate our own caches a lot of times. So, and I did see a question in here, and I saw some other answers in here. I wanted to get back to this one too. It was talking about budget wise from Paul. He says, speaking of budget, what is the most you've spent building a cache? For me, it's probably between about $150 to $200, just because I was building with PVC board, and PVC board gets expensive pretty quick.
Yeah.
I think the sheet of PVC board was at least $80 itself, and then you had to get some other stuff and different things for it. So that's roughly probably about the most I've spent on a cache being built myself. Doug?
I built a Jurassic Park cache. I think I spent about $100 on all the parts, kind of thing. I can show it to you if you want. If it'll take, I'll go get it.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, and I'll jump to Chad, because I know I've heard this answer before, and I want everybody to be prepared for this answer, because we were on a Gadget panel before, and this same question was asked.
That's funny. This comes up all the time, because when Tricasius and I did the panel down at the 20th, the same question came up too. So way too much money. That's the answer.
You're not going to say it because it was just in the container
about
itself.
About 1,000, but that's yes. So, there's a lot to that, but that if I was to have to build that cache again, it would be $1,000 to do that.
Yeah.
About what I didn't spend that much on it, but that's the amount of money that's in the cache itself if you were going to build it.
Right, because of the container that you had to use to
the container by itself is like $750 just for the container.
Right.
So, but it's a specialty container. Luckily for what I do for a living, I get them a little bit less expensive. I didn't spend that much.
Sorry.
What?
This is the part where Chad's wife comes in and bounces his head.
Whatever. She's learned to live with it. I got it as Derek saw. I got another Bamboo Labs printer, and it was delivered. And she's like, "Oh, did you get what printer did you get this time?" That's all she's used to it.
Yeah, we were counting before the show. There's 6. You said 6 printers.
6 filament printers and 2 resin. Yeah.
And he prints like crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, and one thing we were talking about on stuff to make while we're waiting for Doug. We were coming up with an idea actually for something I saw the other day, and I just made one to messing around, and we were thinking either what is that lens? A polarized lens would work, right. But anyways, I made one of these here. Gotta take it off of where my name is. And so this is a welder from Aliens. And so I saw this and I wanted to print it. I thought it was fun. But up here you could do you could put an LED in here, either a black light one, if you want a regular white one, and then in here you could put a polarized lens, so you could actually only see something when you're going when you're using or looking through the glass. So I thought that should be kind of fun for a cache there. But if you have any ideas, let us know. I'd love to hear some good ideas for this cache. I thought about doing some welds. So it's a welder. I thought about doing some welds around a container, and the code, maybe the lockbox code would be on those welds. And you'd actually have to take this down the weld like you're welding it, and you would see either some code, some letters or numbers or something.
That's really cool. I like that idea. And to answer Pizza Ninja's question here, did Doug drive out to do some cache maintenance to get the cache? No, he's actually back in there. But what a lot of people don't realize is that when Doug builds caches, he just doesn't make one of them. He makes multiple so that he can go back and do, if he has to do cache maintenance, he just replaces the cache itself. So, all right, Doug, I got you back on now.
Okay, so this is my Jurassic Park cache, and so this So there's
Let's see the
4.
Barbasol container, Chad.
Right. So there's your Barbasol. So this has a dino DNA. So the trick to this one is you have to get to the front. So you've got to drive this Jeep, or basically it starts over here. So it starts there, and you have to solve these 4 puzzles here. So one is you've got your dino DNA right here. So if any of you remember Jurassic Park,
Yep.
you have to solve the puzzle, match these with the slides in there in order to get the code. And there's going to be 4 barriers on this side you have to get rid of. This one, you have to flip the switches until each of these read 100 volts to disengage or to turn the power on to the radio center, I think. And then this one here is you have to follow the wires to get
the numbers.
the code right.
wow.
So A, B, C, D, all the way down. And then finally, you've got your radio room. So it's going to give you a it's going to give you a Morse code and you have to decode what it is. But there's a lot of dials on here, lots of noises and everything until you finally figure out how to turn it on. You can radio for help and then get to the helipad over here and you can get your cash out of the hole there. So that's what this one cost me about $100 in parts and everything. So yeah, that's about my
That's
most
not bad for what you have there, though.
No, it's not bad at all. That's really impressive. I love that. That's really, really cool. And did you just, and I was mentioning when you were jumping on here, you usually build multiples of these. How many of those did you build?
I've got 2 of these so far.
Okay.
Yeah, so I always try to build 2. So in case one gets broken, I can replace it quickly, and I don't have to. There's going to be very little downtime. And also, if it goes missing, I don't feel quite as bad because I already have one to replace it, and then I have a little bit of time to work on coming up with a third one. So I'll always have 2, and so that's that always helps, to kind of make sure that the cache is always available.
Right. And of course, if you're doing the second one and you realize you did something different on the first one, you can always tweak it just a little bit and maybe even make it a little bit better. And I like your paint job that you have it on the outside of that too. That's really cool.
Yeah, the second one always comes out better for sure. The first
They
one
always
do. Yeah.
You learn from your first one and then you make the second one, and then every time you make a new one, it'd probably be better.
Yeah, so the Pizza Nerd says it would be awesome if after you solve that, an animatronic T-Rex starts coming at you through the woods. Now, Chad and I've done an escape room very similar to that, and I don't know.
You need to make for sure you find a secure place for that one.
Right. And so here's a question from Scott. What percentage of your gadget caches go missing, Doug?
Very few, amazingly. So I try to hide them in ways that it looks like it belongs, or disguise them under fake rocks or fake stumps. I've got one stump now that's about 3 foot tall that I got this really large, if you've seen my circular maze like this, or a cylindrical maze, it's similar to this one that I'm using to hide it. So it looks like it belongs in the way I've disguised it, and so or I've have something that looks like a third part that looks like the other 2 parts which is actually a cache. And so I always try to hide things and that's the fun part of it, is trying to come up with ways of hiding the cache as well.
Right. And I think that kind of answers Killer B's question right here, where it says placement. Where do you put these that they don't get muggled? And like you were saying, behind fake rocks. I mean, I know on the trail down in Texas, there's a bunch of birdhouses along that trail anyway. So putting another birdhouse in between them was nothing. And I think you have one that's under a fake rock out there too.
Yep.
So, and that fake rock, and you were telling us in previous episodes where you've had people that were standing on your fake rock.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah,
there's
so I had a cache out in the desert in California, and there was a group of homeless people, and I have a picture of one of them sitting on the rock, and the whole time I was there. So this was like they were there for several months, and and the whole time they never discovered the cache. Another thing is I'll have fake rocks in parks and stuff like that with permission, and the lawn crew will go and clean and uh, do the lawn work around it. They never find out. So the trick is, and the way I make the rocks is I'll take molds off of actual rocks that have the kind of the shape that I needed to hide squarish looking containers and that kind of thing. And so I try to make those as indigenous as possible and try to paint them the colors of the other rocks that are in that area. And so
right,
that's how I do it. So believe it or not, only about maybe 10% of my caches have ever gone missing, which is shocking to me because to me it seems like, why would that rock be in the middle of nowhere? But people, I guess, if people notice things that don't seem to belong and then they go investigate, so that seems to work the best is just to make it something that looks like it belongs.
right, right. Hidden in plain sight is the best way. And I know you were talking about this in when we did one where you talked about how you make your fake rocks and all that. That a lot of times you'll put them outside and let them get weathered before you ever hide them too. Actually put them in place. So that's just
It's
some different
amazing
things.
how that works. I'll paint it and it looks off. It looks really obvious that I've painted it. But when it sits out there for a while, dust collects on it, rain gets on it, birds do their business on it, and that kind of thing. And then amazingly, it looks almost like a regular rock. In fact, there's a story of I placed a cache out in the desert and I recorded the wrong coordinates. So I was off by one number. I went back out there to find it and it wasn't there. And I knew I'd put it there. And I knew I'd recorded it. And it's like, okay, what are the odds that I got both the west and the north wrong? Well, probably I just got one of them wrong. And so it's like, okay, all right. So I ended up with got a couple of friends out there and we walked a grid essentially. So so we ended up shifting everything over by about, I don't know, 100 feet, and we eventually found it. But we were literally standing right on top of it because the rock had sat there for long enough that it acclimated. I don't know why it does that. It just magically looks like it belongs. And we were literally just standing right in front of it going, is that the rock? Could be the rock. Oh, what do you know? There it is. So we finally found it after about a month of losing it.
Right. That's really cool. And Diana asks, what type of glue do you use? Because Gorilla Glue sucks. And maybe that's something that we could dive into sometime, Chad, on different glues. What we talk about. I know we talk about using glue as a kind of holding in place, so then we add a mechanical way to it, like a nail or a staple or something too.
Yeah, I like both the mechanical, as well as a glue to fasten stuff together. So you have one that backs the other one up. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to glue. If it's plastic, E6000 is one of the best out there that I've found. I think I have a tube of it somewhere here.
Well, of course, if you're using actually a lot of times with plastic or even with acrylic, I like that the weld on.
Yeah, so depending on what you're putting together, that it just depends. So like my 3D prints, the E6000 is probably one of the better ones that I've used, and it dries fairly quick. You could use super glue if you need to. It just depends on what you're putting together and the material.
Right. Bell and Moose says he uses marine goop.
Marine goop, yeah.
Good stuff.
There's a lot of stuff out there, I just know what I have luck with and what I don't.
Right. Right. So, hey, Chad, I see that you popped something up in the screen below.
Oh, I was going to bring up to Doug. Sorry, I like listening to you. I'm just sitting back here listening because that's what I like to do. So on your dinosaur one, your barber saw, are you using the codes in here? I don't know if that will show.
Yeah, I can see them.
DNA thing there for your code. I want to put a Jurassic one out. I've started making one, and then the puzzles and stuff. I'm not a great puzzle person, so I was wondering, are you using some kind of math on that to figure out that code from your DNA?
So what I did is there's a number on every single vial here.
Okay.
Let's see if I can remember it. This is funny. I keep forgetting how to play my own gadget caches. So there's a number on every vial, and every vial has some stripes on it on the inside, and they're all unique. And so what you have to do is you have to figure out. I give them a dinosaur, and I also say it's a splice between an iguana and a T-Rex, for example. And so they have to find the iguana, and if you add the two together, and it comes out to be
your DNA strips. Okay.
Right. And so you've got your DNA slide and you've got your vial of DNA. And when you come together and it creates a T-Rex, then that's the number to the combination, one of the numbers. So that's how that works.
Okay.
You have to put the slides and the vials together.
I was wondering, I might have to get together with you and think about one that we could do together for that, because I really like that idea, and I didn't think about the slides like that. That is pretty cool. I was what Derek's talking about, and you can share that, Derek, or do I need to share that?
Okay, I got it.
Is I looked at ordering some of these the other day, and these are from the engine company. Not really, but they're just props. But these have the Stegosaurus. They have all the different DNAs, and I thought about having something on these vials where you got to figure out what it is. I even thought about doing an RFID tag that you have to put it somewhere for it to read that vial.
Or you could put it in they'd have to have a barcode reader too. You could do that.
Yeah, I don't know how to program one, but that's a good idea. It's probably not that hard.
You can do it with QR code. You can use QR code.
QR code. That would be really simple. See, that's why we do this podcast, is to get good ideas. So I saw these the other day, and I liked it better than this Barbasol container, and I thought it'd be cool. But I really like your slides, and it's kind of funny. A couple weeks ago when we were in Vegas, we actually did the NCIS thing where you actually went and figured out how to do fingerprints and do the slides for DNA and all that stuff. And I thought about trying to incorporate some of that stuff into it. And so seeing the way you did your slides is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You could do it for the pantless Thunder Goose.
I have a great idea for that cache too, but I'll have to work on it and get Doug's approval.
Yeah, there's one thing I've always wanted to do is a Marvel Comics a gadget cache, and I haven't come up with a good one. But if anybody has any ideas, please share.
Chad's got a great one.
Yeah,
Heroes in Jeopardy up there.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah,
that one does good.
That one does really good.
These once someone in there mentioned about the UV reactive liquid. This actually is. I'm trying to think where my UV pen is, or UV light.
Usually have it right there. Yeah, let's move the pit droid to the side.
I have two.
We got a battle droid in the background, and there's a new one coming together back there. It looks like an IG-11.
IG-11, yeah. He's 7 foot tall. He's almost done. In fact, my printer stopped printing just a minute ago, so I'm like, gotta switch it out. He'll be done probably by tomorrow morning, but or as far as prints go. Anyway, I don't know if I have any batteries in this UV, but anyways, the liquid inside these containers is a UV reactive container, but these are all one color. I like his idea of having the different colors.
That is cool.
On there. And in fact, I got some great ideas too. We should have did this with Doug when we were there. It's actually that Jurassic Park escape room in Memphis was amazing.
Yeah, that was
the best I've ever done. And that gave me a lot of really good ideas.
Okay. Well, we'll have to compare some notes because I talked to one of the designers on that, and he had some really good stuff. That
he was on last weekend.
He talked to Shannon, huh?
Last show.
He talked to Shannon. Yeah, he's one of our really good friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm surprised he's not in the chat tonight. He usually is.
Yeah. So anyway, some really good ideas, some different ideas. So I'll get together with you. We'll go over something. And maybe we'll build it on the show. Put it in a cool container.
So
Like it.
well, I just want to thank. We've gone for our hour tonight, so I just want to thank everybody that's been in the chat room. Doug, I thank you for coming on with us. We've been kind of looking forward to this. We've been trying to set this up, and just things have been kind of crazy going on. I've really been looking forward to getting you on and seeing some of these caches and really talking these ideas out. Love having you on. I think you've been on, I don't know, I go back on the shows. This is like the third or fourth time I think we've had you on. So just really, really appreciate it. And like I said, if you want to be on the show, and I know we've mentioned it to Paul earlier, and if you have an idea or you're playing with an idea and you want some ideas, use this as sounding boards and trying to figure out if this is a good way to do it or have any questions, go ahead and send us an email at gadgettalkpodcast@gmail.com, and you see that underneath Chad's name, or you can always send us a message on Instagram at Gadget Talk Podcast, which is under my name. So you can just contact us one of those two ways, and we'd really love to have you on here to kind of share your ideas and maybe just kind of come up with some different ways and with the chat room and then chatting on here as well, kind of helping you out with that would really be a lot of fun. And we love seeing new ideas and seeing what we can do, because we want to see these caches out in the wild and just kind of sharing these ideas as gadget builders. It's just a lot of fun. So I just once again, Doug, thanks for coming on with us tonight. I really appreciate it. And stick around. We're going to talk a little bit more afterwards. We might share some more ideas, and who knows, this may turn into another show later on down the road too. So, but thanks everybody for joining us. Make sure you hit that like button, and we will see you next time on Gadget Talk, which is the second Sunday of the month coming up. So next week, I think it's the first weekend of the month. So that'll be Challenge Talk, and then we'll be the following weekend after that. So, all right, everybody, have a great week, and we will see you next time.
All right. Good night, everybody.